Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy and you are watching Running So and So, and thank you so much for joining me here today on this Saturday afternoon. It's just going, the sun's just gone in, but it'll be back tomorrow. We're heading into a lovely warm spell of weather in the United Kingdom, and I am wearing, let me show you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a fleur dress by Fabric Godmother using my Beyond the Pink Doll fabric that we got in the May box last year. And it's the one it's the nautical themed one. And I have been this afternoon to my younger grandson's first birthday party. Yes, little George is 1 on the 29th. So we had a lovely little party. So I'm just going to pop in a few little pictures. In fact, there might even be little videos. So certainly a lovely little video of Oliver. He's just got such the most amazing character. He weighs up the room and then thinks, right, what do I need to do there? What do I need to do there? And then we start to get the eye. And then George, well, here we go. Here we are singing happy birthday to George in his lovely little birthday hat on and blowing out his candles. Such a lovely, lovely afternoon. And now the other thing, oh yes. So I dressed up and I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my vlog now because I'm all smart. I've done my hair. So thank you so much for joining me again. And it is just so lovely to have you here. And thank you to everyone who has watched and commented and liked the video recently. I really appreciate it. Now I am behind with my comments. I did put something on the community tab actually on Friday just to say I'm really sorry that there's been nothing this week. I got a virus and it was just really draining. It was just annoying. That's the only way to describe it. It felt as if my body was fighting something, and it was, this thing wasn't going to appear and do anything more than just niggle in the background, but it really was making me feel so weary. And I've spoken to a couple of friends and they too have felt exactly the same. So there you go. It's just one of those things. I work in a school. Would you excuse me? I have got a cup of tea. I know I don't normally drink on videos, but I do find tea quite a good healer. Tea or coffee. So then, I wanted to tell you what I've been up to. So I'm just going to reach over and I'll be back in a minute because it's behind the sewing machine. Last Saturday, I had my Christmas present. I went to see Torvill and Dean in Sheffield, and I'm just going to put in just the tiniest bit of footage. Obviously, I can't put the music in, but I think you all know the music. It was when it was their 2025 version of their 1984 Olympic winning dance to Bolero. So that I just had the most lovely afternoon with Hannah at Sheffield Arena, and it was just super, super special. So what have I been doing? So whilst I may not have produced so much sewing, what I have kept up with is my sewing journal. Now, some of you will have remembered me mentioning this several times since Christmas. This was a present from Sweet Pea Green at Christmas. Now, I am going to do a plug. This is a shameless plug. No, it's not a shameless plug because I want to do it. Sweet Pea Green has just launched her own YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link to her channel down below. And if you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind going over, giving her a watch, giving her a like, sending her a comment, and most importantly, could you subscribe to Pam too? So when Pam gave me this, she said, I know you like a notebook. And I said, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write down whether I sew or not every single day for a year. Now, I know I've set myself a lot of challenges this year, but I have kept it up to date. Even when I have written 19th of April, no sewing, Torvill and Dean show. There was no way I was sewing that day. I had to walk the dogs in the morning and I was out all day. When I got back from the Torvill and Dean show, I had to get things ready for Easter Day lunch. And then on Easter Day, I tried to do some of the embroidery, but I was so tired I fell asleep. But I've written it down so that I will know. Let's just pick another date. Let's just open the book up on this page here and let's see what it says there. So, 22nd of February, cleaning, running, crazy fall, filmed and edited. So that meant I fell over while I was running. But I remember what I did. So it's, if you've never done it, start it now. You can run from like beginning of May to end of April. It doesn't matter, it's a year, whether it's from the beginning of January to the end of December. But at the back, I have been writing down, and this is not up to date. This is up to the 24th. I did think of something for the 24th. I have thought of today's. Let me write today's down when I think about it, because today's, which is the 26th, is not George's birthday party, because George's birthday is on the 29th, so I will write that in for the 29th. But today it's going to be ducklings, because I've done an Instagram story for this. I must put it up on Instagram. I'm just going to put it in here. When I was out running this morning, this duck crossed the pathway in front of me, so I pulled the dogs to a stop, and then we went over to the bridge and we went on to look where the mummy and daddy duck were with the little ducklings, and they'd actually sort of grouped round them so that Poppy and Maggie couldn't get them. There was no way Poppy and Maggie were going to get them, but they didn't know that. So that's definitely it. Yesterday I had the most lovely walk in the woods. So I'll have to think of something to do for that. Failing that, I could mention something that I'm going to talk about later, which is an utter sewing fail. And then the 24th, I might have to put down that that's when I felt poorly, because there are little symbols in my book that I can actually use when I'm feeling poorly. And I will think of something for yesterday that I did. I have to go back and think about the day, whether it's what I ate or whether I had some fruit, whether I had a chocolate bar, went out for a walk with the dogs. I've just got to think about what I did during the day. So would you like to see the embroidery? Because the embroidery is catching up. Now, if you were on, was it Stash Hub or Virtual Sewing Room? I can't remember. One of those recently I did actually show the embroidery on. And what I'm doing is, if I just show you here down the side, when I've actually done the embroidery, I tick it off, and you can see here where I've changed my mind. And if I go back a page, I'm really enjoying doing this, and it really is actually getting my mind thinking about what it is that I'm sewing. What is sewing? Why is it so important to me? What would happen if I didn't sew? So really make me think. And the other thing is, if I think I haven't sewn, I go into the book and I sit down and I think, well, I've not sewn because I've done that, but every day there's something I've done. I might not have sat at the sewing machine, I might have cut something out, which is what I'm going to show you, and I've got it in front of me there in a minute. But here for March, you can see I've ticked off. Now this page I'm up to date with, but if I go onto this page here, I am not up to date with everything. You can see where I've written down what I've done, but I've not ticked it off. For example, on the 21st of March, I did a run and I ran really fast. It was my fastest time ever, but Lorianne was here. Yeah, I could blame Lorianne for this. No, I'm not blaming you, Lorianne, I'm not. But when Lorianne was here, I decided I was going to not do the embroidery because I wanted to spend every minute I could with Lorianne and meeting the lovely people that we were fortunate enough to meet. But like on that day, I did a run that was really quick because we were going over to see Ollie. And then we never took any pictures of Lorianne with Ollie. So here we go. Now I have moved on a little bit. So when I've got loose threads, I'm actually pulling them up the back here and pulling them to the side so that I can then pull them back through. And here we go. It is, that's the 17th of March, in case you hadn't got, that's St. Patrick's Day. Blossom on a tree, a lamb. Oh, that's a purple skate for Torval and Dean. It's a purple skate. That's a hot cross bun. Palm Sunday. Oh, there's always going to be a Think Pink box. Easter egg. Let me go back to March. Oh, that was the woods. I had to do the woods. Maybe I could put a number 2 under the woods. Oh, and that was a dinner. We had lots of people for dinner. So when I've done the little motifs, I'm always labelling them. But what I do know is that this will get done, and when I sit down and do some, I am going to do some tonight, I sit down and I'll try and do 2 a night, so it allows me to catch up. And I was doing quite well catching up, then I got the virus, and I just thought, oh, I'm just not going to go there, I'm just not going to worry about it. But I've got 2 days babysitting coming up, 2 evenings, consecutive nights. So this is a great activity to do when I'm just sat in Tristan or Hannah's houses. I can sit here, do the embroidery, and it's lovely. So I can sit there and do that. Do you know, I've just had a thought for tomorrow, what I could do, but my yellow bird magnolia, I put a picture of it just here, is coming into flower. It's utterly beautiful. So maybe I could do some yellow magnolia flowers. That would work quite nicely, wouldn't it? So I have just been working this afternoon on a piece of patchwork that has caused me no end of problems. And have a look at how I overcame the problem. And I had more than just the block to overcome, because I then got cramp in my hand. This is week 13 of the Block in a Year book by Debbie Shaw and Melissa Naylor. Now, I have to say, I've had a bit of an issue with this, because when I put it together using foundation paper piecing, the seam allowances ran away at this particular point. So these here, which are the clear points, which you need to have accurately meeting. So here we have the yellow points do meet just here, which is excellent. I now have to put these 2 together to ensure that they meet up again, and then I need to put these 2 to these 2. But at that point we ran into difficulty because something had knocked out of alignment, and in the end I put it in the bin. And before I sew it all together, I wish to point out a little error that I found in it. Now, these are my finished blocks. There's 4 of them. I'm just going to slide this one out of the way and just leave you with this one here. And I'm going to slide it round to try and, well, I have this, which is the English paper piecing template that I got from in the Debbie Shaw book. There we go, look at that! Perfect, isn't it? It's absolutely perfect. Piece number 3, piece number 1, piece number 2. Cracked it. But I didn't. Because it tells you that it should look like this. It doesn't. Because if you put the pieces together, piece number 3, piece number 1, and piece number 2. I've never found an error in a book before, and it doesn't say in the instructions that the template at the back is reflected. So yes, I have spent 2 evenings when I haven't felt brilliant playing with this. Right, we are at the point of moving on, because if this works, we should be able to put this together and it should work. So let me take these out of the way and put this back together here. My star is the wrong way round, it's mirrored. But using the templates I got in the book, I chose to go with what was in the book rather than trying to make it look like the picture in the book. Because I had to make a decision to do one or the other, and that's what I decided to do. So now I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to put these 2 together, and I shall be back with you in a minute. I suppose I ought to iron it, but I'll iron it in a minute. But I have put them together. Now, the whole thing has gone out of alignment again at the top here, and I am beginning to find this complete block one absolutely frustrating. If I turn it round, it's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to finish it and worry about it running off slightly here at a later stage. So going on the let's butt the seams up principle, we should be able to get these 2 to match. Right, I'm back from the sewing machine because I've still got the pin in. Shall I do a live twist it back, because I can tell you now, it is still not right. It is definitely still not right, and I'm going to hold it up here. This should be further over because these points are not lining up properly. Let's try again. And I have sewn up that seam you can see here. Let's have a little look. Now that is so much better. It is still out here and it isn't acceptable. It is too far out. Right, here we go again. Has it worked this time? This is a big question. And the answer is yes, it has. Patchwork isn't easy. It needs to be worked at, and you need to take out and put back in again, which is what I've done here. But all 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, do now meet in the middle here. So to iron this seam, I will need to fold it outwards. So let's do that now. And can you see there? I am really happy with that. That is what I was trying to do last night when I wasted so much of my time trying to do it. Now, here is the problem where I've got it running off there. Now, it's probably run off to the 1/4 of an inch. Let's have a little look. No, not quite. There's a fraction. I will have to work something else out here because for whatever reason, this has not matched up there. But at the other corners it has. I may make it slightly smaller, I may take off the excess, but I'll have to wait and see where this goes on the finished quilt. Whew. Right then, shall we have a look at some of the other blocks that I have finished? So this was April's. It's really beautiful. And I have finished week 12 of the block a week. There it is, just here. It just needs another iron. With this one, I'm just going to zoom you in again. The little hearts were appliqued down. As I say, I've said before, no excuses, but it's a long time since I've done these techniques. Although I've kept sewing over the years, I haven't done this for a very long time. And applique like this initially, I would have done by hand. And we have got a hand applique block coming up in about 2 weeks. I'm a little behind and I'm not going to fight to get it finished. I've decided I'm going to keep going and do as much as I can. So these are, I'm pretty certain I've shown you these beautiful sort of twisted flying geese, and then we had the twisted ropes. And I've got all the little threads to cut off. So I'm up to date with the beautiful block of the month quilt. So I'm feeling quite proud of myself there. And then these, they all go inside there, right inside there like that. I've tried to do them all with a sewing themed fabric, as you can see. I've accumulated quite a few sewing themed fabrics over the years, and they are all sort of a blue colour. So they will look nice on the bed in the spare bedroom. This is another of the smaller 6-inch blocks. And as I say, I have done this the traditional way. So what I did was I joined the cream to the pale apricot colour and made one triangle there and then put this triangle on. Joined here, did the same with these two, and then joined along the middle, and it was that middle stitching to make certain I got that point in the middle there that I was really careful about. So I am going to, as I talked to you, put these back here, put them back in their safe little bag. Now then, so that's where I've been doing that. So these little things are being done. But I am doing a bit of sewing. I'm getting hot. I'm not having a hot flush, but I'll tell you, this is Hannah's cardigan. I've just taken it off and it's absolutely roasted. I'm hot, really hot. I want to make some trousers. So I actually want to make some trousers, and I am really uncertain as to which pattern to make. And the ones that are at the top of my list that I really, really do want to make are the Belem trousers by Maison Fauve. I've had this pattern for a very long time, and thanks to Stash Hub, when I was there at the Stitch Festival, I was able to call up my Stash Hub and say to the lovely Emily, who was serving us at the time, I do have that pattern at home. And she said, how do you know? And I said, look at my Stash Hub. And I did buy some really lovely viscose from Maison Fauve to make them. And this is now all washed and ready to be sewn. So I'm just throwing it to the side. So I thought, I really, really want to twirl this to make certain I get this right, because that fabric's beautiful. And I do actually have this beautiful green. Now this is it's a slightly heavier weight, so it may not be right for those trousers. It might be too thick. It's got a lovely stretch. Now I bought this from Andrea when I visited Beyond the Pink Door when she was still in Ireland. So I've had this in my stash now for 2 years, and I think it would be lovely to get that made up. Now I'm going to come back to the Belem trousers in a minute, but I want you to think, why am I making trousers? Now, this is where the sewing becomes reflective, because I love to sew, but it got me thinking, what is sewing? Sewing is nothing more than a needle, thread, and fabric. So sewing isn't necessarily sitting down at the front of my sewing machine and making another item of clothing that I perhaps don't need at this moment in time. I actually have bought very little fabric of late, and I have been going through my wardrobe and wanting to buy, if I buy fabric, it's got to have a purpose. And I know a lot of vloggers and a lot of sewists on Instagram are all saying, I'm not doing this, I'm being sensible. But when I go through my stash and I look at what I've got some beautiful fabric, but I do have gaps in my fabric. I'm lacking t-shirt material. I can hold my hands up, and I am looking at that because I'd like to make a couple of new skyline tees for school. But I am lacking trousers. It's not that I'm short of clothing. I'm just going to insert some video I took before I came downstairs to film. So I brought you into what is my wardrobe, dressing, drying room. It's the room with stuff in, okay? I have a room with stuff in. I don't like having a room with stuff in, but I have a room with stuff in. A carpet cleaner, an ironing board, some kind of mandolin thing which was left by my Chinese student years ago, a doll's house which is Hannah, bags which might end up going on Vinted one day. But I can make it tidy to have people to stay in it. But this is my problem. In my wardrobes, I have two very small wardrobes from IKEA. I have clothes. Now, I'm just going through these. That is not me made. That was bought. I have got a lot of me made things in here. I think virtually everything in this wardrobe. She says, just double checking. Yep. Apart from this is me made. Now, that's this one wardrobe. Just go back around this. And again, I've got another wardrobe full of me mades. It's full of me mades apart from my jeans. There's some jeans there. And this is an Odd Molly jacket which I bought when I was in Norway a few years ago. So here I am outside my wardrobe wondering, what am I going to make? What do I actually need to make? And why might I want to make it? Before I rush ahead, I do have some ideas of what I'd like to make and what I need to make. So I have wardrobes, two wardrobes full of clothing. I have drawers in my bedroom with clothing in it. And I'm saying to myself, why am I rushing to keep making? I can't wear what I've got. And I wanted a dress on today and I thought, which one shall I wear? I've got too much choice. And there's nothing wrong with what I've got, but I keep making more. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong, I love having a new dress, and I'm looking forward to my Beyond the Pink Door fabric for next month because I'm going to make another dress. And it will be fantastic, or a blouse, or a pair of trousers. I don't know what the fabric is yet. It might even be a jumpsuit, you don't know. But my Beyond the Pink Door fabric, I've been trying to make that up every month, and I am already behind with that. Because with L'Oreal here and doing everything else, I just got behind. So I want to make the Avenir jumpsuit with that piece of fabric. But I have a gap in my wardrobe, and the gap in my wardrobe is for trousers. So there you go. I'm going to make some trousers, and I'm going to make the Belem trousers. But I am going to make a wearable toile. I have got this absolutely beautiful chambray. Now, those of you that will remember that I did the pattern test for Victoria from Little Rosy Cheeks, and I made a pair of barrel leg trousers for my lovely young model who lives behind. I used the chambray from Boys, and this is the chambray from Boys. It's really lightweight. It's got a little bit of drape to it, but a little bit of structure, so it should be okay to make a wearable toile. Now, I will need to make these trousers extremely carefully. Now, those of you that have never made a pattern by Maison Fauve before may not have seen the instructions, and one side of the instructions is in French and the other side is in English. Now, Emily always does an extremely detailed sew-along vlog that you can access for free on YouTube, and I will be looking at what she's doing, and you can on a YouTube channel set the captions to show as translated, which I will be doing, but you've got to remember it will be a literal translation, and the intonation and the fluency and the colloquialisms of the language will not show through. So you will, I will be watching that video before I start to make these trousers, alongside having these instructions in my hand. I am quite methodical when I sew. Quite methodical when I sew. I'm slow and I'm steady. And I believe that that will give me the best result. So I haven't done any other prep on these trousers as yet, but I am fully aware that on the back pattern here, I've got some darts and I need a tailor's tack there. I also need tailor's tacks on here. And one or two people have said to me, will you show us how to do a tailor's tack? Now, you should, when you do a tailor's tack, use a matching thread. Now, I am getting a little bit older, and a matching thread is all very well, but I sometimes won't necessarily see it. I need it to be a little bit clearer, but what I also do is when I've got my item placed, or I've got the dart and the pin in just the place I want it, as I sew down to that tailor's tack, I will remove it before the sewing machine sews through it. So then, shall we have a little demonstration of a tailor's tack? Now, there are lots of different ways that people will mark their work. I'm going to do the one just here. Now, some people will put in a pin here and go through. Right, the pin's through there, and they'll go to the side. Right, there's my pin. Oh, here's my pin on the other side. I'll put a pin in there. Oh, in fact, no, what I'll do is I'll just catch that there, and that's where my tailor's tack's going to be. And then they'll take the pin out from here, and they'll, oh, it's gone. Oh, but it was there, so I'll put it back through. So there it is. Oh, thankfully it's come back through in the right place. So I'll just go into here, and they'll fiddle around, and they'll put a piece of pin in. No, just literally. In the time that you faffed around doing that, folks, you could have done a tailor's tack. When I learnt to sew, accuracy was paramount. And one of my very good friends said to me, actually, Judy, we really do need this tailor's tack demonstration. So I have picked up a reel of like a greeny coloured thread. And that will do me a very nice tailor's tack. So what I have done here, because I am doing a tailor's tack, and you can tell me it's sacrilege, but I have actually cut the pattern because I thought life's too short to trace it. I'm really sorry, it is far too short to trace it. I am just going to cut it. Nice long piece of thread, and it needs to be doubled over. Now, take your purple fang. Thank you, Ruan, for this lovely tip. And you can then puncture through here where your you want your tailor's tack. Similarly here, the pocket markings, and here at the top of the dart, we'll need tailor's tacks because you need those to fold it over. So the pattern piece is still pinned on to the fabric. So you are going in and picking up the tiniest bit of fabric. Can you see there? A little bit of fabric. Bring the needle through, like so. Hold it down and do another stitch through like so. And leave a nice big loop, like so. And you say, oh, there's good, I can see that. Oh my God, that sounded like my dad, there's good. From the valleys, sorry. And snip it off. And I'm going to do these two here. This is great. When you've got them up here like this is brilliant. I love it when you've got them like this because you can join them together before you cut them. And like so, make it like that. Don't worry if the threads get caught. Oh look, that loop's not very big, is it? Need to pull that loop back. So I'm going to pull that back, there we go. Then I'm going to go over to the next one here. Pull it over in the middle, leave myself a loop there, big loop here, like so, snip it off. I need to get some sharper scissors. Find the loop in the middle, snip that so that they're separate. I've got two more to do. So again, in, little bit of fabric, through, make certain I've got a nice big tail there, and then go back on yourself. So you're basically just doing a little stitch. It's just a little stitch. I'm going to make that one a tiny bit smaller so I can get them all out of this one piece of thread. And do you know something? I will have done this marking faster than any of you could have done it with a bit of a pin. And I can tell you now, mine's accurate and it won't fall out. Pin on pincushion. So then take these off. I bought some lovely new magic pins here. These are big thick magic pins and I thought they'll go through the paper more easily. Bit of a treat to myself. And you will see on the back here, get me my new pointing toy, but I've got two here. 1, 2, I've got one here, and I've got one here, and one here. So then you literally lift off the front. Now you need to be really careful when you do this, a little bit of a pinch, but if you've made your hole big enough, it should just fall off. Fold back your pattern piece, and then it's a question of holding it up like so, and then pulling like this, and then you separate like this. Pull so that it's all the way through and it won't go anymore. Don't pull it too hard, otherwise you'll break it. And go down. Oh, there's the next one. Pull. That's as far as it's going. And then here. And that was the smaller of the two. And then here on the dart. You just need to be careful, and you then have these beautiful little marks in your fabric. So you pull up your fabric like so, match your darts up on the inside using your pin with your eye. And if you want to check you've got them lined up, you can put your pin through at that point. Yes, they've lined up, so then put your pin in the right way. Hold your fabric out. Here's the tip of your dart, give it a shake. And there it is. And at that point, wrong pin. I always put my tip of my dart pin perpendicular. Because when your pin is perpendicular, you can sew straight over it. And that is how I would mark with some tailor's tacks. It's what I do. But I don't want to do any more on my Belem trousers until such time as I have watched that video. I didn't think I had much to tell you, but I've told you loads. I have also got this lovely piece of lovely royal blue linen viscose from Sister Mintaka, which is absolutely lovely. Can't wait to see her new fabrics next week. But I don't need it unless it's a t-shirt jersey, and I need plain t-shirt jersey, and that will become yet another pair, excuse me, of free range slacks, which is a lovely pattern that I like from Sew House 7. I've also discovered in my stash that I've got the Loulolu trousers from the Sew Me Arty collection from Maison Fauve. So this could be another pair of trousers that I look at doing. or indeed the Brooklyn trousers, which have got a bit more of a palazzo-y feel, and they could look really nice in that lovely minty green fabric. So let's do one pair of trousers, the new trousers. Let's make the trousers that I know that I can make really quickly, and then let's maybe look at another pair of trousers. But that's what I need. I want to sew sensibly. And just remember, folks, you might just do a bit of cutting out. You might just do a little bit of pattern research. You might just do a bit of planning. Doesn't mean you've lost your sojo, because you've not picked up that needle and thread. Sewing is, for me, it's just part of my life. I hope that you have a lovely week going forward, whether you're sewing, whether you're doing gardening, whether you're out with your family, out with friends, just having a lovely time in your life. And I will see you all again very soon, where I get to talk to you about the fantastic challenge that's going to be a new challenge for May. Sew Skin Summer 25. I hope that's the right way around. If I've got it the wrong way around, I'll put it down underneath. I don't want to stop because my camera battery's going. I am going to be videoing about that really soon, and I am so looking forward to talk to you about that, because it's something I'm really passionate about. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a like and send me a comment, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care then. Bye bye.